So guys, Black Ops 4 is the most frustrating Call of Duty of all time. That's the title of the video. And that's basically what I'm going to try and get across to you today, why I believe it's the most frustrating Call of Duty of all time, without ranting. I'm going to try and articulate what I've got to say without being negative. And I have to be negative to a degree, but I want to make it very clear before we continue in this video. This is not a bash. This is not me jumping on a trend. This is my opinion, which you may not agree with, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. But I also want to make it very clear, I really do enjoy this game. The only problem is, I seem to be only able to enjoy this game in spoon-fed times. I can only tolerate this game on my own for a set period of time before I just get frustrated and I want to smash my pad up the wall. Now, Call of Duty has always done this to me, but for other reasons. But there's just so much BS in this game. It's really hard to keep your composure sometimes. Now, I've done a video about the end of casual Call of Duty, and I definitely believe this is very true with this game. And whilst I've spent 80 odd quid, it's hard to believe that this game is so unfinished. But then again, if Treyarch really did have the plug pulled on them by Activision and only had 18 months to complete what is Black Ops 4, then it makes sense why they're still updating the game, and it's quite an impressive feat if this is the truth. So let's get on to these frustrations that I have with the game. We're in 2018 currently, and we are still dealing with PvP connections. I'm still dealing with people who are running around the map, body popping, freeze framing like CCTV, which is just not acceptable in this day and age from a franchise of this size that makes this much money. It's a AAA title and people are still lagging, and I really don't get it, because Black Ops 3 ran like clockwork. It was a marvel how smooth the game ran. I'd never ever encountered lagging people, probably twice in the whole of the time that I played that game. And this is even more frustrating to me because I own a NetDoomer, a gaming router, which allows me to select the region of where I want to play people, so I can have people not join me from 1,000 miles away, which are guaranteed going to have high ping laggy connections. But for some reason I'm still getting connected to these type of people. So you can see that adds to my frustration owning a gaming router, paying for one, and it can't even do its job properly. And that's not the router's fault, that is Call of Duty Black Ops 4's fault. Now, is it the incorporation of the blackout mode? Has Call of Duty and Treyarch and Activision bit off more than they can chew by doing the blackout, the zombies and the core multiplayer game without the single player to mention? I don't know. I've already done a video about the lag in this game. If you want to check it out, it's down in the description. But for me, on a weekend, this game can become unplayable, which is really frustrating when you spent nearly £100 on this game. It's subpar, it really is subpar, but it is still very enjoyable for periods of time. My other frustration with this game is just some of the decisions that are made by Treyarch in terms of buffing, nerfing, patching, whatever they seem to be doing. Now, it's no secret now that the sniper rifles have been buffed several times. Now, it may perplex a lot of you, because it perplexes me as to why they do these sort of things. But when you sit down and think about it and how Call of Duty has gone for the last few years, it's all about catering to the newer player and helping the newer player, supporting the newer player, cuddling, wrapping the new player up in bubble wrap and cotton wool. In Modern Warfare 3, we saw the introduction of support streaks. And basically you could get a stealth bomber, blow up the entire map just by obtaining 14 kills, no matter how many times you died. It started to compress the skill gap as such. Now, what they've tried to do in this game is sugarcoat that by making the time to kill a lot higher and seem like there's a lot more skill involved in the game, which there is to a degree. But here comes my frustrations, my major frustrations with Black Ops 4. This game is the most random Call of Duty I have ever played. And sometimes you will hear me screaming to the top of my lungs just because this game vexes me. It actually vexes me. You try and get a nuclear in core TDM on this game and see if you don't leave that game with grey hair. There is just so much random bullshit in this game, it's unbelievable. They've buffed the snipers, and the reason they've buffed the snipers is because they want to make it easier for people who come in this game just to partake for a few weeks, if that, who don't really care about the game, to try and emulate optic per margin. Oh, he's phase per margin now, isn't he? Phase per margin, so forth. These are people that are going negative in every single game. They don't care about their KD. They care about pulling off one trick shot so they can clip that specific trick shot and put it in a montage. So it doesn't matter how many times they die. But if you're going hell to leather and you're about to get your nuclear, it doesn't matter if they blop shot you across the map because they've got what they want. But that destroys all your hard work as a player that has actively tried to get better at the game, and this is not acceptable in my opinion. Not acceptable at all. Now, what I liked about Black Ops 3 is, even though I didn't necessarily agree with the specialists, you could only choose one of your two abilities. You either chose your power weapon or you chose your ability. In this game, Treyarch have decided to give you everything. It's organised chaos what we are playing in. Literally, shock drones are what kill me the most in this game. That's why I choose to run Tempest the most, because I'm sick and tired of getting shocked. And yes, there's a counter, which is tac mask, but I don't want to be forced to wear something that makes my classes weaker than they should be, because I have to stop getting caught up by BS in this game. 9 bangs are ludicrous. People were literally running around with them now, holding them in their hand just to throw them at you. Same with Battery's grenade. Not only is it a Semtex, it actually blows up even more after it's made impact, which is just ridiculous. Everything caters to people who can't be bothered to get better at the game, and this is something we've struggled with in Call of Duty for a long time. But the difference in Black Ops 4 is it will drive you berserk, it will drive you insane, because there's just so much of it. There's too much of it. They have really gone down the wrong road with the way they've done the specialists in the game. It's just literally Call of Duty specialists. Now, I've been asking, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been asking, if they can implement, because they're doing all these crazy playlists, if they can implement a playlist with no specialists. Now, me personally, I believe this would have been one of the best Call of Duties, even in its current state, ever, if there was no specialists in the game. That would have given Treyarch what they wanted. They want to make this tactical. They want to make this more skillful. Get rid of all the things that cater to the newer players, and you will get what you want to emulate as a Call of Duty. Believe me with that, believe me. There is a reason why the COD World League pros ban so much of the game stuff that we use. We can't even relate as casual players to the pros because we play a totally different game. They don't play the Chaos game, they play the game as it should have been shipped. They have banned nearly every specialist in the game, and if they're banning everything and it shouldn't be in the pro game, then it shouldn't be in our game. How can you expect us to relate to your COD World League and you want to grow this COD World League bigger if we don't play with the things that the pros are using in the game? It makes absolutely no sense, and this is why people will continually say Black Ops 2 was the best Call of Duty there ever was, because people could relate to that game a lot more than they can relate to the one that we are currently playing. Now, my last frustration, and I'm sorry if I've droned on in this video guys, I just needed to get this off my chest, is the constant disregard for what the community says they need changing in the game. Now, yes, they have listened to us, but only to a degree, and it seems to be the least relevant stuff. Why we had these changes the other day in the score streaks, I don't know. Now, the Hellstorm, I actually agree with to a degree, and that is because the hierarchy that it was in at the time, the Hellstorm is definitely better than a sentry gun by a long mile. So changing its position, it makes total sense because it rewards you for how many kills you are getting, so that made sense. But the attack chopper, which keeps getting shut down in moments by the way, makes no sense to me why they've increased the score for this. Again, it seems like you keep moving the goalpost, but you don't even know where you want the goalpost to be, Treyarch. Just go back to what you used to be good at. Just make the game that just worked well. This game has a lot of potential, and again, I will say I enjoy this game, but there is so much nonsense and frustrations in this game. I just don't get why you make certain decisions sometimes. Make a mode without the specialist in, give the people what they want, and please, Activision, don't let this be a continuing trend with your other developers. Take specialists out the game, stop catering to noobs. I came into this game as a noob, and I am the player that I am now through persistence and hard, consistent work. You want people to buy your game consistently, then reward them for getting better at your game, and I guarantee you they will keep coming back. Guys, if you've managed to get to the end of the video, tell me what is your biggest frustration in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and drop it down in the comment section for me. If you have stuck along till this point in the video, then I really appreciate it. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but the like and subscribe button, I hope they tickle your fancy, and as always guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.